Good. Welcome to Trail, British Columbia's early Saturday or Sunday morning. Ravens versus Wildcats is in the semifinals for the BC Provincial Championship. Winner plays for gold. Loser goes to silver. Goes to bronze. Ravens are about 500 against the Wildcats this year. Last time they played, the Ravens came out in the short end of the stick here. They're looking to change that today as they line up at center ice. Sear, McDonald, Hernandez, Miguel, and Amade out there for the Richmond Ravens. Babcock in net. 20 minutes on the clock. And the goaltenders are ready. We're set to go, and the Ravens win the faceoff. Ravens to the outside. They dump it in deep behind the Wildcats net. Now behind the net, the first one there is the Ravens, Miguel, but it gets chipped by her, and now the Ravens dump it back in deep as it moves way to the blue line. Wildcats put it on the far side, and now it comes out to the neutral zone. Amade with it on his stick. Amade chips it forward. McDonald has to get a stick on that. Now it goes back into the Wildcat zone. Wildcats put it back up ice to the neutral zone and now work their way into the Ravens, towards the Ravens zone. McDonald picks the pocket of the player and puts it back in. Hernandez takes it down low, and now the Wildcats take control. Wildcats put it around to the far side and now through the neutral zone. They chip it off the wall. The Ravens step up on that and keep the play in the neutral zone briefly before it comes into the Ravens' end. Now on a stick. Tran with a stick. Carries it up. Tran to the outside. Tran working her way back. Now she drops it to the slot. A shot attempt by the older sister, but she was unable to get it off. It's a stick check. Now back off the blue line by Macy. Macy misses the top corner high wide, just barely, as David pinches on the play to keep the play alive down low. Now comes to the wall on the far side. Tran tries to put it back out front, hits a body, and now from the corner, it gets put onto the wall. Sear tries to pull that to the middle, and now back to Macy. Macy from the sharp angle puts it through slot. Save made by the goaltender. Now it comes back out to the neutral zone and back after it. Here's David. David being watched. Babcock leaves the play alive. David doubles back and now goes off the wall on the far side. From the far side, the Ravens go off the wall and into the neutral zone. That comes back to David as the Burnaby team has to catch up. It gets on the Miguel stick. Miguel unable to handle it cleanly, but Wing picks it up. Wing from the outside now stops up. Wing with a shot towards the net, hits a body in front. Miguel in there to try and take the puck away. It comes up on the wall on the near side. Now the Wildcats have it. Wildcats working their way into the zone. And now the Ravens turn it back the other way. Basket with it on his stick. Basket with a couple of moves, and now she dumps it in. It gets on the stick of the Wildcats. Wildcats around to the neutral zone, and now coming down the ice from the outside. Wildcats try to cut to the middle. A pass to the middle picked off by Basket. She goes back up off the wall, and it comes all the way down into the Wildcat zone. Wildcats with it on his stick. They bring it over on the near side. Now they put it into the Raven zone. From the outside, a shot through traffic, and Babcock makes the save. 17:26 remaining in the first period. Face off to the right side of Babcock. Hernandez out to take the face off. Puck is dropped, face off won by Hernandez. It goes in behind the net. Nishi's going to pick that up. Nishi looks for Sear on the wall. Sear with a touch play, but it gets picked up by the Wildcats. Wildcats work their way along the blue line, but can't hold it in. And now it goes D to D, and the penalty's coming up for the Richmond Ravens. Ravens touch up, and we get a penalty called. It's going to be slashing, I believe, against the captain, McDonald. Oh, they're calling a trip. 2 minutes goes on the clock. 17:10 remaining in the period. Ravens down a player, and the faceoff comes to the left side of Babcock. Tran, Morin, and Sear out there to kill the penalty. Puck is dropped, face off to the outside. Tran's are battling for it. He's got a stick check. Good pressure there to put it to the outside now, and now it goes in behind the net. Morin's the first one there. Morin Make sure she keeps it to the outside. Now back to the blue line. Wildcats keep traffic at the blue line. Babcock makes the save, and now the rebound bounces around the slot. Brown pushes it to the outside, but unable to clear it out of the zone. Now off the wall, back to the point. From the point, it's a long shot. Babcock makes the save and holds on to that one. 16:41 remaining in the first period. Trying to take the face off. Well, we get a forward line change as Hernandez comes on with Sear. Face off drop, face off won by the Ravens. They fire it down ice, and Sear gives chase. Sear with the speed. Now to the wall. Hernandez interrupts the play going forward. Sear Hernandez battling for it in the neutral zone. Hernandez still has it. She's able to get it into the Wildcat zone, and now it goes across in the stretch pass. Sear's waiting for it at the blue line. She turns it back and now fires it down ice. It goes in behind the Wildcats net, or their goaltender plays it with 1:03 remaining in the power play for the Wildcats. Wildcats with a stretch pass out into the neutral zone, picked up by the Wildcat forward. She's going to double back into her own zone and take it across ice. Now play up the middle, led by Sears. Sears chases it to the outside and back into the Wildcat zone. Wildcats with a pass forward. Fernandez puts some pressure on, and now the 3-on-2 coming back the other way. Wildcats set up with 40 seconds remaining in the power play. And now back to the blue line, out to the, that goes the touch pass, DVD. Wildcats back over to the corner. Now down low, back up to the point, into the high slot. Shot, tip, puck to the outside. The Ravens clear the out, so now they fire it off the glass or off the wall, held in by the Wildcats. A touch pass there, and it comes back to Sears. Sears makes no mistake to get it down ice this time as the Ravens go for a full change. Wildcats start back up ice as the Ravens kill the penalty. We're 5-on-5 again with 15:05 remaining in the period. Wildcats get turned back in their own zone, and now the Ravens put some pressure on. Play continues. Macy's going to pick it up. Macy make sure the penalty's over before she sends a stretch pass up, and that hit its target on Tran. Tran comes across, and the play is red as McDonald is able to get it down low. Play continues as the puck goes to the corner and now back up into the Raven zone. Macy's going to pick that up. Macy with her head up, looks over from McDonald. McDonald receives it on her backhand. She's going to chip it deep and go for a change. Puck in the corner in the Wildcat zone. Comes back over into the Raven. Picks it up. Texera walks her way in. On her backhand, she tries to put it to the net. The goaltender touches it. Now Macy from a short angle hits the side of the net. Texera from behind the net. Gets it out to the neutral zone. And now Amadei has it. Amadei being watched. Amadei leaves the handle. Now comes back to Amadei. Amadei forces it up the wall for Texera. Texera, she chips it in. Cabana gives chase from behind the net. Cabana's going to pick that up. Cabana gets taken down. Play continues as the puck goes over to the wall on the far side. David over to pick it up. David shoots it towards the net. Goaltender makes the save. Rebound picked up by the Wildcats. Wildcats turned back behind their own net as they had some pressure on it from Miguel. And now Miguel, play comes out in the middle, and Miguel just underneath his stick, but Macy steps in to keep the play alive. David shoots a puck from a long ways out, and it gets onto the net with a goaltender. Holds on to that one. We got to stop it and play with 13:37 remaining in the first period. Tran Kagan. Tran out there with Nishi and David. Puck drop, face off one over to the wall on the near side. Wildcats with some speed, works their way through the neutral zone and now into the Ravens' end. Ravens push them to the outside, and now it goes in behind the net. David picks it up. David unable to handle it cleanly. Now Tran has it. Tran leaves it there. Now the Ravens lose a handle on that one. The puck from behind the net gets centered out front. Now back to the blue line. From the blue line, shot of Tran. She stands on that. Now Tran working her way up ice. Tran to the outside. Tran cuts around high. And now a shot towards the net. It hits a skate and goes through the house before it goes over to the far side. And out of harm's way. Back on Tran's stick. Tran with a shot right on save. Made by the goaltender. Now comes into the slot. Comes back to Tran. Tran shovels it towards the net. Goaltender's going to hold on to that one. And there's traffic in front. Face off on the left side of the Wildcat goaltender. Out to take the face off is Miguel. Puck drop, face off one by Miguel. She takes it to the wall. Ends up on the stick of one of the Wildcats. They get it out in the neutral zone and now leaves a handle on it. Wildcats working their way to the outside now with some room. Wildcats looking to the net. They put it over to the near side as it goes out of the shot. Now back to the blue line. From the blue line, the shot hits a body and goes wide as Miguel blocks that. Now comes to the front of the net. And Babcock's going to stop the play and dive on top of that and get a whistle with just 12:29 remaining in the period. Face off to the left side of Babcock. Miguel to take the face off deep in the Raven zone. Sorry, right side of Babcock. Puck is dropped. Ravens force it to the outside. Miguel in her feet. Now she loses the handle on it. Wildcats have it. They try to center it. Great play there by the Ravens defender. And now the puck goes out the far side. Basket jumps on the play. Now from behind the net. The Ravens stop up. Lowe has it. Lowe looking for Basket. Basket. Forward for Miguel. That's a little high for her to catch. And now the Wildcats turn the puck back the other way. Puck back in behind the net. Now over to the far side. They chip forward out of Fernandez's reach. Now back into the Raven zone. Ravens, Basket has it. She comes over to a wing on the near side. Nobody there. And now the Wildcats come forward with it. Wildcats don't receive the pass just quite right. And now Sear is able to get it forward. Gets on Hernandez's stick. Hernandez cuts the middle. And now a good pass across on to Sear's stick. Sear with a chip play. Now she chases it in behind. Sear from behind the net. Wildcats battle for it. They come out with it. Now read by the Ravens. The Ravens try to put it back in the slot. Back onto a Wildcat stick. Hernandez steps in after it. Now it comes out to the neutral zone. Sear has it on his stick. He's going to chip it forward. It gets into the feet of one of the Wildcats. And now McDonald comes in after it. Hernandez comes in to help out. Hernandez digs it out. Now gets back into her feet. Hernandez kicks it forward and passes it over. And now a shot from Sear right on. Save made by the goaltender. For the Wildcats, he's going to hold on to that one. And we have 11:07 remaining in the first period. McDonald, Fernandez, and Sear out there with Amadei and Sear back on the blue line. Fernandez taking the face off to the left side of the goaltender. It comes back to the blue line. Amadei fakes the slot shot, puts it over to the wall. McDonald puts it on. Good save made by the goaltender, and now a stick lift there, and the puck comes back the other way. Wildcats working their way into the Raven zone, and the Ravens with a great stick check there by Sear. Now on the Sear stick, she puts it back into the neutral zone. Wildcats have to touch up. They're going to fire it deep back after the Sear. Sear from the corner. She's going to retreat back in behind her own net. Now she has some pressure on her. With some speed, she fights off the check and now cuts to the outside. Sear taken down on the wall, but play continues as the puck comes across into the neutral zone. Now play read by wing. Texera. Texera picks it up. Now Texera works her way towards the net. Texera from the outside loses the handle as it gets into the ref. And now the Wildcats have it. They go up the wall. Macy's down low. She's going to hold it in the zone. Texera battling for it. It gets ripped around to the far side. Ravens on a change. David just jumping off the bar onto the ice. Wildcats work their way to the middle. Wildcats with a shot. Blocked there by the Ravens. Macy has it. Macy drops it over for Cabana. Cabana looks forward for a pass for Texera. Texera touches it. Well, she says she didn't, but no ice on the play nonetheless as the Wildcats touch it up. Wildcats behind their own net. They're going to put it out to the wall. It comes back to Macy. Macy's going to put it back in, down low. Out the far side. Shot from behind the net. Cabana tries to put it back out front. Picked up by the Wildcats. Back on the Macy stick. Macy, she's going to put it back in. The Ravens touch up. And Tran heads in. Over to the near side. Tran's going to pick it up. Tran centers it. It comes right out to Texera. Now after Tran, she puts it back on net. Picked up by the defender. It's chipped off the wall. Now Macy's going to pick it up and put it back down low for Cabana. Cabana unable to handle it cleanly, and as it goes over to the far side, David steps in. David. It gets past her, and now Macy's going to pick that up. Macy puts it on the stick of one of the Wildcats, and the Wildcats walk their way in, and now penalty's going to be called against Tran as she stepped in underneath the Wildcat player. And the Ravens go to the penalty kill for the second time this game with 9 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the first period. We're tied at 0. Lowe and Nishi out there for the Ravens. And now Fernandez and Tran. Puck drop, face off the end of the wall by the Wildcats. They're going to go back to the blue line and now back to the circle. They walk their way in and now a shot. Babcock makes the glove save. 151 remaining in the power play for the Burnaby Wildcats. Here comes on for the Ravens. Face off one of the corner, shot blocked there by the Ravens. Now in behind the net. Wildcats setting it up. Wildcats with a pass across the point, and now a shot from outside. Babcock makes that save, and now turning fire and gets past Babcock as the Ravens go down by one. With a minute 8:45 remaining in the first period. Babcock made the first save, but the rebound came out to the wall. All right, and right onto a Burnaby stick, and they turned and fired it past Babcock. Tran out to take the face off on their pushback shift. Tran key. Ravens battle for it. It gets back into the D. Now Tran steps up, keeps the puck alive. It comes on to K's stick. K from behind the net. K, he shoots it towards the net. Now it bounces around in the high or in the slot, and the goaltender dives out to jump on it. 8:27 remains in the first. Ravens down by one. Puck drop, face off one by the Ravens. They're going to go back to the blue line. Sear with it. Sear, she's going to float it towards the net. Ends up hitting Tran. Wildcats come back the other way. Wildcats, they're going to chip it in deep, and now behind the net, Sear has it. Sear comes up the wall for Tran. It comes back to the blue line. From the blue line, it gets chipped to the wall, and now she's going to walk her way in. They're passing into the Ravens' house. Ends up getting onto the stick of Sear, and Sear puts it back to the outside. Now Tran battle for it. It comes to the high slot, and now a couple of moves there before it comes to the wall again. Tran has it. He's going to go cross ice and out of the zone. Okay, unable to handle it cleanly, and now the Wildcats are going to carry it forward. Played to the wall, and now over to the near side, and we're going to have a penalty called against Dave as the Ravens go in penalty kill yet again. In penalty trouble early here in this semifinal game. Tran, Macy, and Sear out there for the Richmond Ravens. Puck over to the wall, and now back out to the point. From the point, there's a shot blocked there by Tran. Now Tran battling for it on the near side. It gets on the stick of the Wildcats. They go back out to the point. Now shot blocked. It goes wide. Macy's going to be there. Macy fans on it, but she gets some help there from Tran, and Tran puts it down the ice as the younger Tran goes to put pressure on the Wildcats. From behind the net, Tran strips the puck, and now Tran has it. She puts it towards her net. It comes out to the near side. Now backhand by Sear. Ends up on the stick of the Wildcats, and they're going to make a stretch pass, and that's going to be icing on the play. With a minute 24 remaining, the penalty to the Richmond Ravens. The face-off's going to make its way down into the Wildcat zone. Fernandez to take the face-off. Face-off one to the wall by the Wildcats. They tip it to the blue line where it's held by David. She puts it back in, and now pass over to the near side. Nishi backing out as the play goes across the ice and over to the far side. Now it gets shot in and goes all the way around and into the near side, back to the blue line. From the blue line, shot towards the net. The Ravens, David deflects it to the outside. Now back to the blue line, back onto David's stick. It's just underneath her, and she has to retreat back. She puts it up the wall, held in by the Wildcats. Wildcats back to the blue line. Now over to the near side. From the near side, a shot. Tip. And it's going to find the back of the net. Is it going to flip just on Frank on Bobcat? Down by 2 with 6 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the first period. The Ravens penalty trouble costing them early in the game here with 6 minutes and 30 seconds in the first period remaining. They're down by 2. Miguel out to take the face off with Wing and Basket. Miguel wins the face off, and she puts the face off, comes back into the Raven zone. Pops up off the wall. Burnaby is going to pick it up. Morin has it on her stick. Morin doubles back and now off the wall looking for Wing. Wing gets it into the neutral zone, and Miguel and Wing chase it out down the. Now stopping up, they put it to the middle, picked up by Burnaby. Burnaby with the speed, they put it through over to the near side. Morin's going to be the first one there. Morin, he chips it back, and now Wing looks for Low, unable to handle that one, and now Basket backs into the corner. Basket turns and fires it. It gets picked up by Burnaby. Burnaby forward to Basket. Basket now on the Burnaby stick, back to the blue line, held in, and now the Ravens force it forward. Miguel tries to get away. Miguel fights off a couple of checks there before she loses her handle on the puck. Now Basket has it on the outside. Basket still has it. Now back out onto a Burnaby stick. Burnaby off the wall and down under the neutral zone. Low gets a hold of it. Low fires it down ice. Wing in after it. Now up the wall. Picked up by Hernandez. Hernandez down for Wing. Wing picks it off the wall. Wing looking for a place to go with it. Now she passes it into the slot. Hernandez can't get the shot off. Sears steps up. Sears keeps the play alive. Burnaby with it. Burnaby forces it up ice, and now I'll move there, and they go. Play to the middle as the Ravens now strip the puck of the Burnaby Wildcats, and now they come up ice with speed. Sear from the outside. Sear, he's going to cut around. Sear with the puck still, puts it back to Nishi or Amade. Amade can't hold the line, and now Amade fired that into Sear, and offside is called against the Richmond Ravens. Macy, David, Sear, Hernandez, and McDonald out there for the Richmond Ravens. Puck back over to the near side. Now on a Sear stick. Sear's going to walk her way in. Sear stops up as she wins the zone. Back to Macy. Macy with a shot. That hits the body and goes wide. Now up in the air. They're saying it was cut with a high stick, and now it's going to stop down in the zone. Face-off is going to be to the left side of the Burnaby goaltender. Oh, they're going to take it outside the zone. Sorry. Hernandez wins that back. Macy picks it up. Macy's going to cut to the middle. Macy with a couple of moves now. She leaves it for Hernandez. Hernandez, he's going to put it across the zone, looking for McDonald. McDonald back to Macy. Macy chips it in deep. A tip right on. Save made by the goaltender for the Wildcats, and she holds on. 4:14 remaining in the first. Hernandez take the face off. Puck drop, face off one out to the wall by the Burnaby Wildcats, but the Ravens get the first stick on it. It ends up on a Burnaby stick, and they're going to put it down ice. Macy stops it. Macy with a pass forward for Sears. Sears tries to filter it in. It's stopped by Burnaby, and they go back to their D through the middle of the ice. Macy's going to pick that up. She chips it forward for Texera. Texera to the outside. Texera now spins off a couple of players, and now loses a handle on it as the play comes back up ice. Now with lots of speed, the Wildcats chase after it, but they don't beat the icing as the whistle goes with 3:41 remaining in the first period. The face-off is going to be down to the right side of the Burnaby Wildcats. Miguel to take the face-off. She's got Cabana and Texera with her. Puck is dropped. Miguel wins that onto the stick of Low, down low for Texera. Texera down in behind the goal line. Now it gets chipped by, but Nishi jumps to hold the play in. On to Cabana's stick. Cabana digs it off the wall. Now Cabana spins back for herself from behind the net. Cabana has it. Cabana back to the blue line. Back to Cabana. Cabana walks her way in. Now loses the hand. Now she continues with it and comes back out and now onto a Burnaby stick. Burnaby working their way through the neutral zone in a long shot. Babcock makes the save and holds on to that one. 3:08 remains in the first period. Face off to the right side of Babcock. Hernandez to take the face off. Right side of Babcock here. Drop. Face off won by Burnaby. They take it back to the blue line. Now they try to filter it in down low, and Hernandez picks it up. Hernandez working her way up. Hernandez shoots it towards the net, hits the body, and now Hernandez fights off a check and shoots gets over the net. Back to Hernandez behind the net from Sears. Sears centers it. McDonald with a shot. So I'm saved by the goaltender. If it goes and the face-off is going to stay in the Burnaby zone. Hernandez to take the face-off. Puck drop, face-off won by the Wildcats. They take it to the outside. Ravens force it in down low. It tips over to the near side. Now off the wall on the near side. Nishi's up trying to block that. And now they got a 2-on-1 going back the other way. From the other side of the ice. There's a shot short side. Babcock makes that save. Play stays alive as the puck comes back in behind the net. Now a pass to the slot from the slot, which doesn't make it to the net. It gets stopped and now chips around there before it goes into the corner. The Ravens clear it out of the house. Now on the Sears stick with 2:21 remaining. Sears chips it forward as the Ravens are looking for a change. They get it down ice. And now it's stretch play there. The Ravens try to read that. Now it's picked up by Tran. Tran's going to gain center ice and put it deep. Play comes to the wall. Morin steps up on that. It gets into her feet, and now the Wildcats have it. The Wildcats stopped up by Morin. Tran picks that up. Tran from behind the net gets taken to the outside. She stays on her feet. The play continues as the puck comes over behind the net. Now chipped up ice and over into the wall on the far side. Sears with a backhand. He now ends up back to Sears. She puts it forward for Kate. Kate can't handle that one cleanly. Comes off the wall on the near side. Tran picks it up. Tran walks her way in. Tran now carries it to the outside through the house and over to the far side. Now back to the point. Sears puts it back down low for Tran. Tran, he puts it towards the net. Goaltender makes a save, puts it to the outside. Tran has it on her stick. Tran fights off a couple of checks there. Now Kay's going to pick that up behind the. Kay tries to stuff it. Now comes back out front, behind the net, or in front of the net. It's blocked by Burnaby as the Ravens try to shoot, and they're going to put it all the way down ice. Icing called against the Burnaby Wildcats at the minute 13 remaining in the first period. Ravens down 2-0. Bastian Wing and Miguel out there with Macy and Amadei. Miguel to take the face off, puck is dropped. Miguel wins it back to Macy. Macy with a shot. Save made by the goaltender. It hits Wing on the far side. Wing with it. Wing works her way out. Now passes it back to the point. Amadei with it. Amadei with a shot. That's going to go well wide and over to the near side. Miguel has it. She goes back to Macy. Macy shoots it again. That's going to hit the side of the net as it goes back to Macy. Now gets past Macy, and the Ravens have to go back and pick it up. Amadei with some pressure on her. She's going to pick it up behind the net now. She turns it over to the near side. It comes up the wall. Macy has it. Macy chips it. That's going to get held at the blue line. Now Miguel forces it forward. We have Wing and Basquette going 2-on-1. Wing working her way in. Now with a move. Wing on her backhand. She finds the back of the net as Wing puts it in the back of the net. 31.7 seconds remaining in the first period. And Wing brings the Ravens within one. Hernandez comes on with McDonald and Steer for this face-off won by Hernandez over to McDonald. McDonald cuts to the middle. She kicks the puck now onto the Steer stick. Steer puts it towards the net. Save made by the goaltender. It gets tipped to the blue line, held by David. David puts it back in down low, looking for McDonald. McDonald picks it up now. McDonald with it. She puts it to the middle. Shot right on, just wide of the net. Sorry, as it misses and comes out the near side. Now back out to the blue line. Nishi stepped up on that. Nishi puts it back in on the stick of one of the Burnaby Wildcats. Burnaby working their way up with 3 seconds remaining. Burnaby to the outside now. Shot towards him. That was like well wide. As it goes down into the Raven zone, we have a stoppage in play. Shots on goal. 13-10 in favor of the Richmond Ravens. Welcome back to the start of the second period as the players make their way to the ice. Babcock making their way to the net. We got 20 minutes on the clock. Ravens down by 1 with a late goal from Wing. 2-1 is the score. Waiting for the Burnaby Wildcats to make their way to the ice to see their coach and showing up. Ravens coach is coming in this side, and here comes the Wildcats on the ice. Ravens found themselves in a bit of penalty trouble in the first. They're not going to want to continue that streak as all the goals from the Wildcats came on the power play. Wildcats will then make their way down towards the end of the rink. We're going to be on the long change here, of course, in the second period. Create a new dynamic. Miguel Fernandez, McDonald, Sear, and Amade start off for the Richmond Ravens. Of course, Babcock in net. Ravens coach having a bit of a conversation with the refs just before the period starts. Door remains open at the Wildcat end. Officials go down to close it. All right, we're getting set to go here. McDonald steps into the face-off side. As the refs do a handshake and they get set to get started here. All right, I think we're ready to go. Face off one into the zone as the Wildcats go back to pick it up. Ravens pick that off the wall, cut to the middle, and now a shot. Save made, rebound, put to the wall. Wildcats, puck pulled off their stick by Miguel. They're going to retreat back in behind their net. They stop up. Play continues as the puck goes onto the wall. Ravens step up on that. Now we have a one-on-one. Ravens get deep as the Wildcats walk their way into the spot. Now play comes back as the Wildcats or the Ravens pick it up. A good back check there by the Richmond Ravens. And the Ravens get it down into the Wildcat zone. It gets onto the stick of Miguel. Now she puts it towards the net. They try to come up to the outside. It stays just on the side of the net before the Wildcats force it in behind the net. Now Miguel puts it back down low. The penalty coming up to the Wildcats is the Richmond Ravens. Fernandez gets taken down. And we have a tripping call. It's going to be against the Wildcats with 19:07 remaining in the second period. The Ravens go to the power play for the first time this game. David, Macy, Tran, Sear, and Tran are your power play units. Tran to take the face off. Up drop face off one to the wall. Ravens hold it in. Tran has it in her feet. Tran forces it into the corner, and now she's going to try and put it in behind the net. Penalty coming up. It's going to be a body check, and it's against the Wildcats. It's the Ravens now 5-on-3 for just about 2 full minutes. 18:56 remaining in the second period. Ravens down by 1. Trying to take the face off. Tough drop face off one. Picked up by Tran. She drops it for Macy. Macy walks her way in. A shot, and she finds the back of the net instantly. Ravens tie it up with 18:50 remaining in the second period as Macy walks to the middle and puts it in the back of the net. Ravens remain on the power play for 1:54 as they capitalize on their first power play. We're tied at 2. Pocket drop, face off. Won by the Ravens. Tran has it. She chips it off the wall. It's going to end up on the stick of the Wildcats. They make no mistake to get it down into the Ravens zone. Picked up now by Macy. Macy, who's going to cut back to the middle and now work her way up ice. Macy passes it up. That play read. Sear unable to handle it. Now it gets on the stick of David. David's going to go for a skate. David loses a handle on it. Now she works her way in. David past the first player and now cuts the middle. David backhands it towards the net. It comes out to the side of the net as it just about trickled its way in. Now on the wall on the far side, the Wildcats battling for it. Ravens get it back to Sear. Sear back to David. David with one move, now 2, and now it's cuts to the middle. David puts it in for Sear. Sear in the corner. He chases after it. Sear puts it towards the net. Now out in front for Tran, but it's picked up there by the Wildcats. Macy holds the blue line. Macy puts it over for Tran. Tran with a shot that got stick checked there, and it's behind the net. Now Sear puts it over to the wall. It gets pitchfork forward now on the stick of the Ravens back to the Wildcats, and they're going to put it down ice with 47 seconds remaining in the power play for the Richmond Ravens. Both teams go for full line changes. Babcock puts it back to the corner. David puts it back forward looking for Hernandez. Play all the way down into the Wildcat zone. They say no ice on the play, so the Wildcats pick it up behind the net. Miguel picks the pocket of the defender, and now a quick move there by McDonald. Wildcats coming back down ice. They get to center ice. The play continues as the puck goes down in the by past Babcock. Now into the Ravens zone, onto Hernandez's stick. Hernandez forward for Miguel. Miguel, he's being watched. He fights off a couple stick checks, now drops it back to McDonald. McDonald across ice looking for Low. Over for Nishi. Nishi with a shot, hits a body, goes wide. Now the puck over to the near side, from the near side. Back to Low, back down low for Hernandez, and that's going to do it for the power play. Short side shot, comes out to the slot. Cleared to the wall by the Wildcats. Now the 3-on-2 going the other way. Wildcats working their way into the Raven zone, and they're offside. As the whistle goes, and we have 16:41 remaining in the second period. Ravens are tied 2-2 with the Wildcats. Amici, Low, Bassett, Wing, and Sears out there for the Richmond Ravens. Puck is dropped. Face off one back to Low. Low with it on his stick. Low passes it forward. It's going to get past everyone. It says it was touched and there's not going to be icing called. The Wildcats from behind their nets, off the wall, back to the blue line. Low steps up. It gets past her. She gets some help from Sears. That goes down into the Wildcat zone. Wing puts pressure on. Now it comes back to Wing. Wing walks her way in. A backhand behind the net. On the stick of Basket. Basket to the side of the net. Just wide of the net as Sear got a shot away. It rolled on her a little bit, so she wasn't able to get everything. Now Wing stops the play and behind the net. Now comes over to the near side. Basket seals the wall off. Now chipped up and into the neutral zone and down ice as Nishi chases after it. Nishi picks it up and now Nishi from behind her own net. She stops up. Puts it back over to the near side. On the low stick. Low up the wall for Basket. Basket, she's going to reverse the play. And now she puts it back up the wall. Picked up by Burnaby. They go back to the blue line. From the blue line, shot through traffic. Babcock makes the save and puts the puck over to the corner. Now from behind the net, Burnaby puts it back out to the blue line. It gets past the defender, and the Ravens are the Burnaby Wildcats. Are going to have to catch up as the Ravens give chase. Now the play up the near side. Put down low in behind the Ravens net. In after it is Low. Put back in behind the Ravens net. From behind the net, it comes right out front into the slot. Basket. Texera, make sure she gets a safe play forward to Cabana. Cabana to the outside with some speed. Cabana, she's going to cut to the net. Now she gets stick check. She fights off, she checks, puts it up the slot. Now it's dropped back. Morin with a shot. She fans on that one. And now the play goes back the other way as the Wildcats carry it up ice. Wildcats coming into the Raven zone. To the outside now. And a shot from the outside. Babcock muscles that one as it goes wide. Now on the stick of the Ravens, Miguel forces it forward into the neutral zone as it comes back onto the Wildcat stick. Wildcats cut to the middle, and now a shot blocked there by Sear. It goes over to the far side, now into the middle. A good stick there to keep it to the outside. Ravens lose a handle on it, comes into the slot. Now right on, and Babcock's going to make the stop. As she holds on to that one, and we get a stoppage in play with 14:31 remaining in the second period. Face-off will be to the right side of Babcock, deep in the Raven zone. Okay, Tran, Sear, and Morin out there for the Richmond Ravens. Tran wins the face-off, picked up there by Morin. Morin retreats behind her net. Now she's going to come over to the near side. She's going to double back as she's being watched. And puts it over to the far side looking for Tran. For Sear. Sear for Tran. It gets past her and put back towards the net. It comes to the near side. Morin kind of watches it a little bit as the Wildcats put it towards the front of the net. Now Kay picks it up. Kay's going to headman it forward. She gets it out into the neutral zone and down the ice, and Tran gives chase. From behind the net. Goes over to the wall. Back to the blue line. Out to the neutral zone. And now we have a one-on-one the other way as the Wildcats cut around Morin. But the puck goes into the corner, and now a centering attempt. It's read by Sear. She puts it back out towards the blue line. The Wildcats put it back deep. Now Sear's going to go high up the glass. It bounces over the player and down into the neutral zone as the Ravens are looking for a change. Puck comes to the near side. On the stick of the Burnaby Wildcats. They go across ice as they open it up. Macy backing in. Right to the outside. Now a shot towards the net. It hit Macy and goes wide. Now the Burnaby Wildcats back to the blue line. From the blue line, they walk back out. Tran tries to get a stick on it. Now she does. Tran and McDonald working their way out. Picked up by the Wildcats as Tran lost the handle on it. Now McDonald gets it deep. He comes back up the middle, and Macy steps in to hold it onside. Now back to the middle, into the feet of Sear. Sear chips it forward. Wildcats with it. Wildcats working their way over to the near side. Now on the stick of Morin. Morin puts it back up ice. Play on the stick of McDonald. McDonald for Hernandez. Hernandez loses a handle. Now back into the neutral zone. Back onto Morin's or Hernandez's stick. Hernandez from the outside. Hernandez still has it. Hernandez now battling for it. She gets some help there from Basket. It comes to out to the top of the circle and now a pass in the middle. The Ravens with a good stick check there. Put it back to Macy. Macy looking up ice. He puts it to the near side for Amade. Amade can't handle it cleanly. Now gets put back into the Burnaby player stick. They bring it into the Ravens' hands here. Looking for Macy. Macy. She's going to backhand it around for Amade on the near side. Amade forward for Basquet. Basquet can't handle it cleanly. Basquet, though, gets a hold of him. She forces it out to the neutral zone. Backhand forward. Now onto the stick of Hernandez. Hernandez takes it through traffic and now cuts to the middle. Hernandez walking her way in a shot. Blocked, but trickles in on net, and the goaltender holds on to that one. We get a stoppage in play with 11:57 remaining in the second period. The teams are tied at 2. Face off to the left side to the Wildcat goaltender. Miguel to take the face off with Wing and Basquet. David and Nishi back on the blue. Miguel wins that face off. Basquet gets a stick on it. Picked up though by the Wildcats. And now the Wildcats work their way up ice. David cuts to the outside. Now we have a 2-1-1 forming. Wildcats cut their way to the net. Now unable to get a shot away as he gets picked off at the last second by the Richmond Ravens. Wing forces it forward out of the zone. Now gets put back into the Ravens end, and Nishi goes back to pick it up. Nishi from behind the net. Nishi over to the wall for David. David with a quick move there, and now it comes over for Miguel. Miguel with a little bit of room. She's going to go across ice. It ends up getting to the neutral zone to hit a body and now fired down into the Ravens zone. It's going to come around to the near side for David. David just puts it out to the neutral zone onto the stick of the Wildcats. Wildcats go D to D. Play off the wall and now put back into the zone. And Babcock lets that one go wide as it comes on the stick of David. David, he's going to come off the glass and back into the neutral zone. That comes back into the Wildcats end. Now pass forward onto the stick of the Richmond Ravens. Ravens with a touch play, and Wing is going to work away from the near side here. Wing drops it back to McDonald. McDonald back to David. David with a shot. That's well wide of the net as it goes over to the far side. Lowe steps up on the play. She holds it in down low. Now the Wildcats work their way up. It gets the blue line, held there by the Richmond Ravens. Now the Wildcats try to cut to the middle. The Ravens hold on to it briefly. Now they turn it back over again. It's Morin gets it. Morin doubles back now. She comes D to D over to the near side for Lowe. Lowe with her head up, passes the puck onto Hernandez's stick. Hernandez with some speed. Cuts to the outside, now to the middle. Hernandez with a shot. Save made by the goaltender. Now back to the blue line for Lowe. Lowe works her way into a shooting position. She gets a little bit on that. Now it's shot right on. Goaltender makes the save. Ravens battling for it. Puck comes to the outside. Now back to Lowe. Lowe down low for Sear. Sear. She gets a stick on that, and now we have a penalty coming up. Cross-checking is the call, and it's going to be against McDonald as the Ravens. We're going to stay 5-on-5 as it's going to be a penalty called both ways with a little bit of rough stuff happening in the Wildcat zone. McDonald works her way to the box. The face-off is going to stay inside the zone. Morin, Lowe, Texera, Cabana, and Miguel out there for the Richmond Ravens. Miguel wins that one back, stepping over to Morin. Morin puts it over for Texera. Texera forces it forward. Miguel's going to be the first one there. Miguel from behind the net. She finds Cabana. Cabana back to the blue line. Morin unable to hold the blue line, and now we have a race for it. Morin back after. She has some pressure on her. Morin stops off and cuts to the outside. She fights the check off, and now Cabana puts it forward, comes back on the Morin stick, and now the Wildcats have it. Wildcats forced to the outside. Now the puck in behind the net and over to the near side where the Wildcats force it back in the other way. Morin in after it. Now on the stick of the Wildcats, back to Morin. Morin chips it forward. It ends up bouncing off of one of the players and kind of out to the middle. Now Morin pulls it out of the air. She chips it forward, comes back to her. Morin. Now she's going to come across the other way. Texera tries to get a stick on that, and it's going to be icing on the play with 9:13 remaining in the second period. We're still tied at 2. Face off to the right side of Babcock. Tran out to take the face off with Tran and Kay. We have Sear and Ravens. Amade brings it around. Now passed right out front onto the stick of Tran. Tran chips it wide and gives a chase. Play comes down into the Wildcat zone. Tran gives chase. Now comes out onto the stick of Tran. Tran with it. Tran passes it over for Amade. Amade with a shot. It hits the body in front and doesn't make it to the net. Play continues. It gets on the Wildcats stick. Wildcats chip it forward. We have a one-on-one the other way. Wildcats cutting their way in, and now they stop up. Ravens watching. Now it's shot wide of the net as it goes over in the corner. Sears the first one there. She chips it forward, gets the blue line. Now play kept alive. Ravens chip it down into the neutral zone and now into the Wildcat zone. Ravens pulled offside as Kay jumped the blue before Tran could come across. And the whistle goes as the play is stopped. We have 8:26 remaining in the second period. Hernandez, Sear, and Tran out there for the Ravens. Got the drop face off one. All gets on the Macy stick. Tran forces it forward. Tran and Hernandez battling for the puck. Now the puck is turned back. Macy jumps on the play. Macy forces it forward. Now it's on the stick of the Wildcats. Wildcats force it forward. It gets to the blue line and into the neutral zone. On the Sear stick. Sear forward for Hernandez. Hernandez across for Macy. Macy up the wall for Tran. Tran chips it in. She gets bodied off the puck, and now Macy puts it back in the zone. Ends up bouncing through the neutral zone. And now the Ravens get it deep and then give chase. Puck behind the Wildcat net. Good play there by Hernandez, but now she gets taken down. The play continues as the puck goes in behind the Wildcats net on the Wildcat defender's stick. He's going to put it up the wall, and now puck's in the middle and now up the ice. The Wildcats cut to the outside. Now a shot from a long ways out, misses the net and comes out the near side, triangling after it. It gets stopped at the blue line. Kicked forward by Hernandez, and now the Ravens get caught watching a little bit there as the Wildcat go across ice and down into the Raven zone. She comes on to Macy's stick. Macy finds David, and David works her way up. She hits center ice and fires it deep as the Wildcats retreat behind their own net to pick it up. Ravens turn that over briefly, and now goes back to the corner. From the corner, picked up there by the Wildcats. They cut to the middle and now come up ice. To its speed, they work it through the first player now. Moves a handle and shoot right on. Dave Babcock makes a save from a sharp angle, and now Macy has it. That's not Macy, that's Wing. She gets taken down. The penalty coming up against the Burnaby Wildcats as Wing gets taken down in the corner, and the Ravens go to the power play with 6:48 remaining in the second period, tied at 2. Face off to the right side of the Burnaby Wildcat goaltender. Miguel out to take the face off with Basquiat and Wing. Back on the blue line is Macy and David. Puck is dropped face off one by the Wildcats. They put it around to the far side, and now they're going to chip it. That plays red and sealed off by David. Now kick forward. Macy with a shot right on. Save made by the goaltender. Wing with it. Wing doubles back. Wing looking to go back to the blue line. Now she just chips it back in deep. It's going to get rimmed around. That's stopped by Basquiat. It comes over to the near side. Now the Wildcats have it. Picked off by Macy. Macy walks to the middle, and now a shot. Muscled to the corner by the Wildcats goaltender. Now Miguel has it. Miguel. She works her way into the slot. Now a couple of moves. It gets pulled off of her stick, and now the Wildcats are going to get it on their stick. Wildcats with their speed cut around to the outside. Wildcats first to the middle and now to the outside. They get it shot away. They misses the net. It comes over to the near side. Macy with it on her stick. Macy passes it forward for Basquiat. Basquiat pulls it forward, now chips it in. It ends up hitting the linesman, and now the Wildcats pick it up. Wildcats try to chip it forward. It ends up on Basquiat's stick. Basquiat shoots it towards the net. Goaltender makes the save. Now the Ravens. Puck gets chipped to the corner. Now it's down the ice, and there's going to be a race for it. Wildcats with some speed. They're going to pick it to be the first ones there. Macy now in behind the net for Wing. Reversed around looking for Sear. Sear has it on her stick. Sear forward for for McDonald. McDonald with a one-on-one. McDonald gets puck pulled off her stick. Hernandez overskates it, and Morin picks it up. Morin with a short side pass to Sear. It gets past Sear. Wildcats in after it with 20 seconds remaining in the power play. The puck gets chipped down, and Morin has to go back to speed. 11 seconds remaining in the power play. Morin with it. Morin. She goes across ice looking for McDonald. McDonald tries to get it deep. It gets turned back. Now pass across for Sear. Sear with a player right on her. Who came out of the box as the Wildcats kill the penalty. Ravens put it towards the net, picked up by the Wildcats. Wildcats to the outside, and now Morin's going to hold it in. Play over to the far side where Cabana's going to pick it up. Cabana battling for it. Cabana. Now the puck over to the near side. From the near side, onto Morin's stick. Morin chips it forward, looking for Texera. Texera, unable to push it forward. He gets some help now from Miguel. Miguel out to the outside. Now back out into the neutral zone as the Wildcats chip it around Morin, but he gets some help from Sear. Sear drops up as she shakes the check, and now she's going to come up ice with some speed. Sear being watched, and she's held to the outside. She hits center ice and puts it down low. Now Miguel follows up with it. She makes sure it gets deep from behind the net. It gets fired around to the far side. Sear is there. Sorry, that's Amade. Now put back in for Cabana. Bad bounce there off Cabana's skates, and now comes out to the neutral zone. Sear's going to backhand it forward. Now he ends up getting held by the Wildcats. Wildcats back into the neutral zone. Shot back down low. Takes bounce around behind the net. Amade's there. Amade, she's going to pitchfork it over to the near side for Sear. Ravens force it forward as Tran's off to the races. Tran and Cabana, but offside is called as they came across the blue line. 3:07 remaining in the second period. Ravens tied with the Wildcats. 2-2. Tran, Kay and Tran with Macy and Amade out there for the Richmond Ravens. Is picked up there by the Wildcats. Off the wall looking for Kay. Kay across ice for Tran. Tran picks it up, and now she's going to gain the zone. Off the wall. And now back to the neutral zone as Amade comes back to pick it up. Amade up off the wall for Kay. Kay back for Macy. Macy over for Amade. Amade back up for Tran. Tran works it in. Tran drops it over looking for Kay. Now we have a play back the other way as Amade one-on-one and a shot wide of the net. Picked up by Tran. Tran doubles back looking for Macy. It goes to the far side. Now back to the blue line. From the blue line. Gets past Macy. Now Macy in battling for it. From behind the net, Burnaby puts it right in the slot. Ravens able to put it back in behind the net. Ravens tip it high over the net as the puck came from the blue line. Now the Wildcats have it in behind the net. Wildcats back to the blue line. It gets past the defender, and now the Ravens able to chase it down. Play over to the near side as the Ravens are looking for a change. Now pass forward and chip back into the Ravens zone. Now the Ravens are going to go to a penalty as Amade took the Wildcat player down, and chipping is called. 1:40 remaining in the second period. Ravens go to the penalty kill yet again. Two minutes goes on the clock, 1:40 remaining in the period. Face off to the left side of the Richmond Raven goaltender. There's some discussion between the ref and the letters for both teams. All right, Hernandez to take the face off. Face off won by Hernandez. Ravens try to muscle it forward. Ends up getting stopped at the blue line by the Wildcats. And now Sear's going to go over and pick it up. Sear unable to, end up on the stick of the Ravens Nishi. And now Sear battling off a check there. Sear deep in the zone. He tries to go through the second defender. Now Sear's going to win that battle again behind the net. Sear taken down. Sear continues to battle for the puck as she holds it in down low. Now she falls down, but the play continues as the puck comes out into the neutral zone. Wildcats through the neutral zone with it. They work to set it up, and now they chip it in deep. Sear back after it. Sear reverses the play onto the stick of the Burnaby Wildcats. Burnaby back to the blue line. 59 seconds remaining in the penalty, or in the period. Wildcats down low. Now back out to the point. From the point. Back down onto the top of the circles. From the top of the circles. Back to the point. Across to the far side. From the far side. A shot through traffic. Babcock makes that save. Now back to the blue line. 36 seconds remaining in the period. A shot through traffic. Babcock steers it to the corner. Wildcats back to the blue line. Now over to the far side. Now a shot. Blocked. Full cute forward. Into the corner. Ravens get control of it. They force it forward, held to the blue line, and now the Ravens push it back to the outside. Wildcats try to put it through the middle. It comes over to the near side. 12 seconds remains in the penalty or the power play. Sorry, in the period. Now a shot through traffic. Babcock makes that save. Ravens unable to get control of it. Now they do. 3.5 seconds remains as Hernandez carries it in. And that's going to do it for the second period. 20 seconds remains in the penalty to the Richmond Ravens. 24-16 are the shots for the Richmond Ravens. Welcome back for the start of the third period. Babcock making her way to the net. We have 20 seconds remaining in the penalty to Amadou. Ravens figuring out who's going to start this third period on the penalty kill. We have Sear. It looks like Sear McDonald. And sorry. Hakeem Miguel. Sear. And Hernandez. Sear, and Nisi out there for the Richmond Ravens. 20 seconds remaining in the penalty, 20 minutes on the clock. The drop, face off one by the Richmond Ravens. They force it down low into the Burnaby Wildcat zone. Wildcats retreat back behind the net. Now they put it over to the near side and out to the middle. And with that, they complete their breakout, working their way into the Richmond Ravens zone. Pass to the outside, and now they set up in the Ravens zone. 2 seconds remains in the penalty to the Richmond Ravens, and now McDonald comes on the ice. Amade comes on the ice. Amade goes across. A Raven shot comes to the side of the net, but doesn't make its way on net. Now on the near side, the Ravens get control of it. Sear now loses a handle on it. Play goes out to the wall and reversed around to the near side. Sear over after it. First one there is a Wildcat, and now a penalty coming up to Sear as a penalty. The ref hand goes in the air and the player stays down. They're saying head contact. And the Sear makes the way to the box with 19-13 remaining in the third period. Looks like the player has had the air knocked out of her. She's going to try and catch her breath here. Ravens tied to 2, but going to the penalty kill, that's been kind of the story of their season, trying to stay out of the box here. Nobody likes to see the player remain down. Trainer tending to her. Now she gets up, holding her arm, but she's able to get up on her own. Great to see. Player makes her way back to the box, or back to her bench. The Ravens are going to go to the penalty kill yet again. And it's going to be 5 minutes, and it's going to be against Sear. And Sear is going to be asked to leave the game, as they're saying it's an intentional head contact penalty. That's a big blow to the Richmond Ravens. Coach is pleading his case, saying that in his opinion, Sear was playing the puck when the contact was made, and now Hernandez comes out to ask for more clarification. He's not going to get much more than they already have. This is going to be a big kill for the Richmond Ravens here. Game tied in the third period, and it's a 5 minute. Now, I believe with Sear being ejected, that's going to negate her ability to play in either the bronze medal or gold medal game later today. Serving the penalty for Sear is going to be Texera as she makes her way to the box. Macy, David, Sear, and Hernandez come on for the Richmond Ravens penalty killing unit. Face off the left side, or right side of Babcock. Posse drop. It goes to the wall. Burnaby wins that one. Hernandez now. She's going to get control of it. Now Spears down the ice after it. Hernandez, the first one there. Hernandez is going to eat it down low and loses their footing. And now the Wildcats have it. Wildcats up through the neutral zone over to the far side. And now they carry it in. As they carry it in, the Sphere puts pressure on. Now picked off the wall. In behind the net, comes out to the front. Babcock makes the save. There's a shot from the short side. Gets back to the blue line and now over to the near side. From the near side, over to the back door. That gets past the player. Sear, she's got it on her stick. Sear now fires it down ice. It goes wide as the Ravens get a full-scale change here. Play forward. Nietzsche gets a stick on that. Now the play comes into the Ravens zone. Puck brought back down the ice as Tran gives chase. We have Tran, Amadei, and Nishi out there for the Richmond Ravens now. Play reversed back by the Wildcats. Looks like we're having some problems because of music picked up. Play to the outside. Now a shot up off the wall and into the corner. Wildcats have it. Wildcats to the outside. Now they ship it towards the net. Blocked by Tran. Play out to the outside and now on the Tran stick. Tran is going to put it off the wall and down into the corner. But should I just restart the feed? Play into the corner. Now down low. Shot. Blocked now to the net. Ravens unable to get a clean shot away there. Puck through the neutral zone. On to Macy's stick. Macy keeps to the outside. Ravens keep the play alive as McDonald picks it up. McDonald from the near side. She's going to carry it in down low. McDonald, she puts it right into the slot. Miguel unable to get a shot away. And now the Wildcats come back up ice. Wildcats from the outside with 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the penalty to the Richmond Ravens. Now from the point. A shot. Hits the body. Doesn't make it to the net. Now back to the point. From the point to the back door. Back to the point. Down over to the top of the circles. Ravens watching as the puck comes back to the point. Wildcats trying to force the play. A good stick there by Miguel. Slow it down. Now comes back to the near side. A shot through body. Babcock makes the save and holds on to that line. Minute 57 remaining in the penalty to the Richmond Ravens. Puck is going to come to the right side of Babcock as he stops the play. It looks like we had some problems there with the feed as the music in the rink may have caused some delay, and I apologize for that. But if you're just rejoining us, we're tied at 2 with the face-off in the Raven zone. It comes back to the blue line for the Wildcats who are on the power play. Wildcats try to shoot through traffic. That's stopped by Sear. Now back to the blue line over to the near side from the near side. The Ravens back to the point and now a shot through traffic. Stopped by Babcock and it's clear to the outside. Ravens with a pull through forward by Sear, but it's stopped by the Wildcats. Now Sear forces the play back to the wall. Back out to the point. And now it's going to come out of the zone as it rolled on the defender. And they have to back out as the Wildcats work their way back in. A minute 24 remaining the penalty to the Richmond Ravens. Wildcats have it. Wildcats try to put it back forward. Good block on the pass there by the Richmond Ravens. And now Hernandez, he tries to force it back. He gets to the point. Over to the shot, block. Now out to the point on the near side. Ravens unable to clear. And now they get three sticks on it. It comes to the wall, and Amadei's going to have it. She's going to make sure she gets it all the way down as the Ravens go for a change. Play in behind the net. Macy comes over to the near side as they're trying to slow that down. Wildcats double back in their own zone and now go up ice on the far side. It comes down in the zone, and David chases after it. Icing's going to get called with 39 seconds remaining in the penalty of the Richmond Ravens on the 5-minute major for the Sear early in the third period. We have 14:52 remaining in the third period, tied at 2. Tran, Macy and David getting the penalty here. Puck is dropped to get on the stick of the Wildcats. They get it back to Macy. Macy fires it forward, and it stays deep in the zone. Puck is over into the Wildcat zone. Now over to the far side on the Macy stick. Macy gets across center ice, and she's going to fire it deep. Gets knocked down by the glove of the Wildcats defender. She goes D to D, and Tran works her way in. Tran from behind the net stops up now. Tran keeps the puck on her stick and now doubles back in the corner. Tran puts it down low for her younger sister. Now the younger Tran. He's going to carry it over into the corner. Now doubles back. Battle forward. Now it gets on Tran's stick. Tran. And we're going to, the penalty's over, and Texera makes her way back on the ice. Texera with some speed, works her way right in, strips the puck of the player. And now the Ravens go to the attack. Tran with Texera. Tries to cut to the middle. Comes to Macy. Macy across to David. David forward to Texera. Texera. She chips it towards the net. Comes in behind the net. Now Tran battling for it behind the net. Tran digs it out for Texera. Now back to Tran. Now it's the front of the net, and the goaltender dives on top of that. His body flying in front. 13:44 remaining in the game. Tied at 2, and the Ravens kill a 5-minute major. Hernandez out to take the face off. It's McDonald and Sear back in the blue line is Nietzsche and Lowe. Puck is dropped, face off one, onto the stick of the Ravens. They get back to the blue line. Lowe keeps it onside. Now comes all over back to Lowe. Lowe chips it forward for Sear. Sear backhands it in onto the defender's stick for the Wildcats. Wildcats go D to D, and now they pass it forward with some speed to the neutral zone. Wildcats cut to the other side. Being watched by Sear. He loses a handle on it low. She gets steps in the corner. Now she gets some help from the Ravens forward. Ravens lose a handle on it. Hernandez drops it back. Now Nishi and McDonald battling for it on the near side. Walking out is the Wildcats. They shoot it off the side of the net. Now the play up the far side. Sear chips it around the first player and it gets out to the neutral zone. Wildcats touch up. Now it comes over to the near side. Nishi puts it forward into the neutral zone. Now it goes back to Nishi. Nishi reverses back into her own zone with a little bit of room. Pierce turns and fires it. It gets into the neutral zone and onto the Wildcat stick. Wildcats over to the far side. Wildcats cutting into the Raven zone. Wildcats with some speed to the outside. Now in behind the net. Turned back by the Ravens. A stick there by Lowe. Now from behind the net, it comes over to the near side to try to center it. Now back to the blue line. From the blue line, stepping out is McDonald. It hits a couple of bodies, and now it comes over to the near side. Ravens unable to clear the zone as it gets on Nishi's stick. Low over to the far side. Sear in after it. Sear with a chip around the first player, but not the second as she comes off the bench. Now back on the stick of the Ravens. Into the slot. Wide of the net. It comes over to the near side as the Ravens are a little bit on their heels here. From behind the net. Hernandez and Lowe go to battle as the puck is stopped in behind the net. Now goes to the corner. Sear in after it. Sear has it. Sear's going to put it down ice. That's going to be icing on the play as the Ravens get caught on a long change there. 11:59 remaining in the period. Just tied at 2. The faceoff's going to come down to this time the left side of Babcock. Miguel to take the faceoff with Wing and Basquet. Puck is dropped, face off one by the Ravens. They try to push it forward. Now get a hold of it. Miguel's off the races. She's got Wing on the left side. Miguel does a chip, and now she's going to chase off with some speed. It gets into the corner. Miguel picks it off the wall. Now gets some help from Wing. Wing battles the check off. Now Wing looks back to the blue line. Now with a couple of moves there, she tries to put it to Amadei. It doesn't quite get there. She didn't get all of it. Now the Wildcat comes back the other way. Amadei backing in. Wildcat stop up and now put it back to the blue line. From the blue line, it's chipped forward. Miguel blocks that though. Now the play back on the wall. It gets past Wing. From the slot. Babcock makes the save. Face off to the right side of Babcock with 11:19 remaining in the period. Tied at 2. Out to take the face off is Tran. Got Tran, and Kay out there.
I didn't touch that chip.
Face-off comes, or puck comes down into the Wildcat zone, and the play is stopped as the whistle goes. The icing called. Trying to take the face-off to the left side of Babcock. Puck is dropped, face-off won by the Burnaby Wildcats. They work their way into the middle and then put the puck on the wall on the near side. Macy pushes it forward, looking for Tran. It play picked up, and now offside is, or the Wildcats put themselves offside. They touch up again. Macy, this time off the glass, as she tips it forward, and Tran tries to go in and pick that up, but it turned back by the Wildcats. It gets over top of Davis' stick, and now the Wildcats can't get past Macy as Macy holds it to the outside. Now she's going to go glassing out as the puck comes over to the near side. Chip back in, and Macy's in after it again. Macy, forward for Tran. Sealed on the wall. Back to the blue line. Tran forces it out. And we have a penalty called. And it's going to be against the Wildcats. 2 minutes for hooking is the call. As the Ravens go to the power play with 10 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in the third period. Ravens go to the power play. Power play unit is here. Hernandez, McDonald, David, and Macy. Hernandez battling for the puck. It goes to the wall on the near side. Wildcats clear it to their own player, and now it gets chipped down ice. It's going to come all the way down. That puck plays it forward for Macy. Macy with some speed. She's going to work her way up ice. Macy to the outside. Now loses the handle on it. The Wildcats clear the zone. Ravens back out. Now pass forward for Hernandez. Hernandez battling for it. Wildcats cleared back into the neutral zone. Macy with it on her stick. Macy. She's going to go for a skate down the near side. Macy drops it back to the blue line for David. David with a shot towards the net. It gets blocked. David unable to hold the blue line, though, and now the Ravens have to touch up. David puts it in, but now comes back to touch up. Wildcats clear it down ice. Macy stops the play. Macy with it on her stick. Now she's going to set it up. Macy works her way in the zone, fighting off a check, and now a shot towards the net. It goes out the far side, held by Hernandez at the blue line. Ravens looking to set up now. Basquette with a shot towards the net. That gets tipped wide. Now Sear battling for it. Puck comes to the corner. David steps up. It gets past there and down ice. 38 seconds remains in the power play for the Richmond Ravens. Babcock puts it forward for Macy. Macy with her head up. Macy passes it forward, looking for Wing. Wing drops it back for Miguel. Now we have a breakaway on the shorthand. He turns on the shot, and the play goes back the other way. The Ravens now pass across for Wing. Comes off the wall, down the ice. No ice on the play. 3 seconds remains in the power play. And now we're even as Wing battles in the corner for it. Wing taken down, puts it out front, carried to the corner, now back to the slot, put back to the side of the net, now out to the outside. Back for Basquette. Basquette goes across ice looking for Lowe. Lowe with a shot. That's going to get blocked. It goes wide. Now around to the near side. From the near side, Basquette seals off the wall. Now to Miguel. Miguel puts it to the middle. Play continues. The players fall down, and now they run over each other, and the puck comes out into the neutral zone where Lowe has it. Lowe chips it back deep as the Wildcats can pick it up. Now the Wildcats on a change work their way up the far side with speed. And Wildcats cutting to the middle. Now to the outside. Pass through the zone. Play around to the far side. Ravens watching it. Texera steps back. Texera picks it up. Now she's going to go off the wall looking for Wing. Wing picks it up. Wing pulls it to the middle. Ravens offside as Hernandez came across the line just before the puck did. Cabana, Texera, and Hernandez out there for the Richmond Ravens. Hernandez wins that one, picked up by the Burnaby Wildcats, and Amadei has to come back. Burnaby on a power, gets taken down. We might have a penalty shot here. There's a penalty shot. As the Ravens, Amadei takes the player down in center ice. Puck makes its way back to center ice. Babcock gets words of wisdom from her defender. Shooter is chosen. Burnaby Wildcats pick up the puck and work their way in their zone. Babcock comes out to challenge. They beat Babcock both sides. And the call, early shot. Ravens go down by one. .707 remaining in the third period. Ravens down by one. Hernandez comes on to take the face off. Puck is dropped. Picked up by the Wildcats. Back into their own zone, though, as Ravens put pressure on. It comes back to Nishi. Nishi chips it forward, ends up on the stick of the Wildcats. And the Wildcats put her out to the neutral zone. Now the Wildcats push it forward, and now back after it is Low. Low being watched by the Wildcats forward. She gets some help from Hernandez. Hernandez digs it out, puts a puck on the near side for Cabana. Cabana unable to push it across ice. She's looking for Texera, and that's stopped by the Wildcats. Now chipped towards the net in the slot, high over the net as it comes over off the back wall. I think it went up out of play and came back down. 6:38 remaining in the game. Ravens down by one. Face off to the right side of Babcock. Puck is dropped. Face off won by Tran. It goes back to Macy. Macy puts it up the wall. Play read by the Wildcats. They're the first ones there. Tran battling for it. Now she gets some help from her sister. And Macy walking off there. Macy's going to pull it out of the fray and walking behind her own net. Macy with it. Macy cuts to the middle now. Macy head up. Macy's going to cut around to the outside now. Play on Tran's stick. Macy steps across the blue line as Tran walks her way in. Tran to the outside on the far side. Stops up. Now in the middle for Tran. Tran puts it down low. They're going to cycle it. Now put back in behind the net. Kay's going to pick that up. Kay tries to put it back out front. Ends up on the stick of the Wildcats. Wildcats put it out to the neutral zone where David has it. David puts it back down in the zone. Tran and Kay give chase. It comes around to the wall on the near side. Macy's going to be the first one there. Macy with a shot right on. Save made by the goaltender. Now McDonald with it. McDonald with a wraparound. Now a shot. It stays out of the net. Play continues as the puck goes in the corner on the far side. Wildcats have it. Wildcats stopped by Tran. Tran stops up and now puts it back to the blue line for David. David with a shot from the point. Stopped by the goaltender. Rebound. And she dives on top of that as the whistle goes. With 5:27 remaining in the third period, Ravens down by one. Syrian to take the face off with Hernandez and McDonald back on the blue line is Martin and Low. Puck won by the Wildcats. They come in behind their net with some speed. Now the outside pass across, but that gets pulled off by Hernandez. And the puck put back down into the Ravens or into the Wildcats zone. Wildcats turn the play back. It gets on the McDonald stick. McDonald tries to center it onto the stick of the Ravens. And a shot right on. Rebound. Covered by the goaltender who finds that at the last second of the Ravens. We're on the doorstep. .504 remains in the third period. Ravens down by 1. Miguel takes the face off. Morning Low out there on the D with Basket and Wing up front. Comes over to Basket. She leaves it for Low. Low. Back down low for Basket. Basket leaves it to the goal in the corner. Miguel goes in after it. On the stick of the Wildcats. They go back up the blue line where Low puts it back down low. Now on the stick of the Wildcats. Wildcats coming up ice. Low steps in. Low takes over. Low carries it forward. Now continues forward into the Wildcat zone. Now back to the neutral zone. Morin off the wall on the near side. Back down into the Raven zone. Play goes in behind the net. Morin battling for it. Now onto the stick of the Ravens. Ravens forward to Wing. Wing can't handle it cleanly. It comes back into the Wildcat zone. 4:20 remaining in the period as the Wildcats pick it up. Wildcats shoot it in, and now Ravens pick it up behind the net. Amadei just barely gets it forward. Now on to Miguel's stick. Miguel to the outside. She's going to back it, hand it in. Puck in behind the Wildcat zone. Comes up the wall on the near side. Now the Wildcats fire it in off the ref. Amadei has it. Amadei up the wall. Held in by the Wildcats. They put it back down in behind Babcock's net. Off of Nishi's stick. Nishi up the wall on the far side. Ravens unable to carry it forward. Now back to the blue line. Shot from the blue line. Babcock makes a save. Comes out to the middle. Amadei directs it to the corner. Amadei with it on her stick. Now Sear. Now on the stick to Hernandez. Hernandez looking for some open ice. Hernandez cuts it to the outside to Wing. Wing pulls it forward for Hernandez. Hernandez down low. Now in behind the net. Hernandez with it on the stick. Back to the blue line. Walking the blue line is David. David with a shot. Blocked. Now shot right on. Save made by the goaltender by Wing. Goes back to the blue line. Nishi unable to hold the blue as the puck comes all the way down the ice. And icing is called against the Wildcats. .302 remains in the third period. Ravens down by 1. 3-2 is the score. Hernandez out to take the face-off. Face-off won by Hernandez to Macy. Macy misses that one, and she's going to try and drag it to the middle now for David. David off the wall. Sear has it. Sear cuts to the outside. Sear now gets some help from Hernandez. Now back to Sear. Sear looking for Hernandez. Hernandez over to Macy on the near side. Macy with a shot. Blocked. Now Macy goes back to the blue line for Hernandez. Hernandez through traffic with a shot right on. Rebound. Clear to the corner as the Ravens couldn't handle the rolling puck. Now Sear down low looking for Hernandez. That's on the stick of the Burnaby team. Now back on the Tran stick. Tran gets taken down. The penalty is going to be called. Battle in the corner for it. Puck goes back to Macy. Macy holds on to it. Macy working her way in. Now we have 6 attackers for the Richmond Ravens. It goes over to David. David down low for Sear. Sear towards the crease. And now it goes in the back of the net as the Ravens tie it up. Ravens tie it up with 2:15 remaining in the third period. 3-3 is the score. McDonald on the delayed penalty call crashes the net and puts it in the back of the net as we're tied at 3 with 2:15 remaining. No quit in this team as the girls continue to press. Cabana, Tran, Miguel, Low, and Morin out there for the Ravens. They get it forward. Cabana can't handle it. Now it gets fired in. Offside, so they touch up, and now the Burnaby Wildcats pass it forward. Ends up on Low's stick. Low unable to handle it cleanly. Now walking in with it is the Wildcats. Wildcats shoot a short side. Player taken down. Babcock lays on top of her, but play continues as the Burnaby Wildcats pull it around the near side. Babcock gathers her stick, play on the near side. Ravens go cross seam. That's plays red as it gets on the Wildcat stick. Wildcats hold it in the zone. A minute 37 remaining as it gets turned back. Ravens step in on that. Cabana tips it forward. Now the Ravens give chase. They pick it up. Wildcats work their way into the shooting position. Shot high over the net. From the near side, it comes out front and Babcock dives on top of that as the puck comes in from behind the net. A minute 21 remaining in the third period. We're tied at 3. Timeout called. Burnaby Wildcats. A minute 21 remains. 3-3 is the score. Coaches are going to work. Burnaby's coaches are drawing up a play. Babcock makes their way back to the net. Puck is dropped on the left side of Babcock as whistle go is signaling that coaching is over. Get to it, ladies. McDonald, Hernandez, here, Mickey, and David. Also for the Richmond Ravens. Hernandez lines up. Face-off won by Burnaby, and they're saying it was an illegal face-off. And Hernandez gets kicked out of the circle. Going after the Sear. Sear wins that one clean. On to David's stick. David from behind the net. David loses the handle on it. Now she's going to double back. She gets double team there. The puck ends up in the feet of the Wildcats. Now comes the side of the net. Shot towards the side of the net, but it goes wide of the net. Sear's going to be the first one there. Sear jumps it back in. Now comes back to the blue line. From the blue line, a shot through traffic. Babcock makes a save. Rebound comes out front. Now the Ravens clear it to the outside. Back to the blue line again. 52 seconds. Now over to the near side. Well, back to the point. A shot through traffic, well wide of the net this time. Burnaby reverses the play in behind the net. It goes over to the far side. David in after it. Now back to the blue line on the far side. Tip back down low. Ravens on their heels. It comes over to the near side again. Now a shot. Doesn't make it through traffic. Ravens clear to the outside. Burnaby puts it towards the net. Tipped wide. Back to the point it goes. A shot from the point. It gets onto the stick of the Ravens. They clear it down the ice into the neutral zone. Tired players working their way in. Now McDonald watching. It comes back into the Ravens zone. Nishi has it on her stick. Nishi tries to chip it forward. It's going all the way down. Icing's going to be called with 5.2 seconds remaining in the period. Tie game. Almost all the way around with 3-3 is the goal. Period 3. Shots on goal. According to the clock in the rink is 31-30. A lot of threes out there. Miguel to take the face off. Puck is dropped. Face off won by Miguel. It comes to the side of the net. Lowe has it. Lowe's going to eat it behind the net, and that's going to kill the end of the period. By the end of the period here, shots on goal are 35-29 is what our timekeeper has. I don't know what the format here is now as we go into what's called the fourth period. Ten minutes goes on the clock. I assume we have a 10-minute 4-on-4, but we'll see what happens. There's a Both coaches are going to work. I think they get a minute of breathing room. Welcome back as we get set to start the fourth period, 10 minutes on the clock. So what I was just explaining to you in this situation is that we're going to do 10 minutes. And then if the game is still not decided, they'll do an ice clean and get another 20-minute period. It looks to be 5-on-5. Macy, Fernandez, David, Miguel, McDonald, out there for the Richmond Ravens. But the stop, face off, one back to Fernandez. Fernandez is going to carry it to the outside. Hernandez puts it in deep. Miguel comes in. Miguel with it on her sticks. He tries to cut to the middle. That pushed to the outside by the Wildcats. Now the Wildcats have it in the corner. Ravens trying to dig it out. Ravens put it in behind the net. Hernandez unable to get to it. Now the Wildcats put it up the wall on the far side. From the far side, play comes back onto the Wildcats stick. Stopped by Miguel. Now onto the stick of the Wildcats. Wildcats down the near side. Hernandez stops the play, but it comes out to the outside. Now from the outside, she cuts to the middle. Stopped there by Macy. Hernandez being watched. Hernandez passes it forward. That's onto the stick of David. David, the defender, is going to push it down into the zone. It goes D to D as the Ravens are on a change, and we have the Wildcats coming down the near side. From the near side, they put it to the middle. It stopped there. Now it comes out to slot side. Save made by Babcock, and she covers it. 9:02 remains in the fourth period, tied at 3, and Babcock somehow found that puck underneath of her as the play is stopped, and the faceoff will come to the right side of Babcock. Tran out to take the faceoff with Tran and Sear. But the drop now onto the Wildcat stick. Wildcats down the wall on the near side. Now chipped around behind the net. From behind the net over to the far side. Wildcats now keeping it in down low. Ravens battling for it. Now picked up by the Wildcats. Ravens not getting on the stick and chip it out. Ravens give chase as the Wildcats take it back, collect it back in their own zone. Ravens hold it on side as Sear has it. Sear from the outside. Puts it back to Tran. Tran through the bodies in the corner. Now Tran puts it back out front. It goes over into the corner. Now Tran has it back to the blue line. Caught by Morin. Sorry, Low. Down to Tran. Tran. Back to Low. Low. Fans on the shot. Now back to Low in the neutral zone. Low over to Nishi on the near side. Nishi, he's going to shoot it in. That goes into the high slot. Now comes back down all the way down the ice on the near side. Low has to back after it. Wildcats are, well, it's going to get icing. It's going to be the call as it just about stopped in that snow. 8:04 remaining in the fourth period. Miguel, wing, basket. Amade, Morin, out there keeping the Wildcat zone. Miguel will take the face off. Puck is off, face off one to the corner by the Wildcats. Miguel gives chase. It gets past the first Raven forward, now into the defense. Amade chips it back down low, back to wing, back to Amade. Amade puts it in for wing. Wing. She's going to shoot it towards the net. Dropped down by the Wildcats. Wildcats on the wall. They're going to chip it back up the point. Sealed off by the Ravens, and now they get it out to the neutral zone where Morin has it. Morin over for the near side for Amade. Amade across a great passing play as it gets on the basket. Basket locks their way in. Shot saved, made by the Wildcat goaltender. It keeps Wildcat down. With 7:32 remaining in the 10-minute extra frame. Casey, David, Sear, Hernandez, McDonald out there for the Richmond Ravens. Face off won by the Ravens. They get it back to Macy. Macy over for David. David off the wall down low for McDonald. McDonald and David battling for it on the wall. Puck comes out to the McDonald keeps battles off the checks. McDonald continues to battle for it as it comes in behind the net. They try to center it now. Puck comes around to the near side for Macy. Macy steps in, puts it in down low. Fernandez back to Macy. Macy with a shot. Right on. Save made. Rebound cleared in behind the net. Now the puck comes up the near side. The Wildcats cut to the middle, and now it's a 3-on-2 the other way. Wildcats through the middle. Now they lose a handle on it. Play continues. Macy fires it around to the near side. Macy over for McDonald. McDonald forward for Hernandez. Hernandez cuts around to the outside. She shoots it towards the net. It goes wide. Ravens on a change. The puck goes around to the far side. From the far side, back up the middle. It gets past everyone. I think we're going to have icing called on the play. Icing called with 6:33 remaining in the fourth period. We're tied at 3. Tran and Kay out there with Nishi and Low. Face off one to Tran. Tran takes a shot. It doesn't get through. And now pool cued forward onto the net. And goaltender dives on top of that and holds on with the Ravens on the doorstep. Goaltender fixes her gears when she dove down, so her helmet came a little bit loose there. Face off to the right side of the Burnaby Wildcat goaltender. Tran takes the face off one, makes the shot right on, save made by the goaltender. Now on the Tran stick, Tran takes a shot, rebound cleared to the outside as it comes out the near side. Wildcats work their way up ice, fast in front of the player, and now we're going to have icing called again. 6:14 remaining in the period. Ravens with some good chances there. Morin. Amade. Hernandez. Sear. And McDonald out there for the Ravens. Hernandez wins the faceoff forward. She gets the shot away. Goaltender makes a save. Rebound. Ravens unable to get a clean shot away. Put it around the far side. Sear after. Sear puts it back to the blue line. Morin with it. She shoots it towards the net. It bounces around in the house there before the Burnaby Wildcats get control of it. They get it forward. Now past the first player and the second. Now Burnaby from the outside. Burnaby. Carry it in behind the net. Now back to the blue line. From the blue line over to the near side. From the near side. A shot through traffic. Babcock makes the save. She dives on top of that and gets the whistle. 5:40 remaining in the fourth period. Both teams pushing. Face off to the right side of Babcock. Out to take the face off is Miguel. Macy. Cabana. Tran. They're saying that the players on the backside of the ref or linesmen there were jumping on the play. They're going to get told you have to stay outside the circle until I drop the puck. Puck is dropped. Macy's going to pick that up. That puck ends up getting shot right on Babcock. He makes the save and puts it to the outside. Now the Wildcats have it. It ends up getting onto a Raven stick. Now it's kept back down low. David has it on his stick. David's going to fire it forward. Stopped by the Wildcats and held on inside the Raven zone. Now it's chipped in under David's feet. David spins around a couple of times and now gets dug out. Mason comes across, but she stops it. Now the Ravens, David puts it out to the outside. He gets into her feet again as David is in trouble in the corner. Miguel puts it forward for Tran. Tran, unable to handle it cleanly. David steps up. He pulls it for it. Now the Tran stick. Tran on the back check. Or getting back check there, but she was able to get it deep. Now for the Wildcats. Wildcats stop up behind the net. And now Cabana puts it over for Tran. Tran taken down. Now back for Cabana. Cabana and Tran working it from behind the net. It comes out the near side. Over to the near side. Hernandez picks it up. Hernandez back to Cabana. Sorry, and that was shot from the point. Wired on the players. She's hurt, but play continues. The Ravens keep it in the zone. Now Hernandez down low looking for some help. And the play is stopped as the puck is froze. 4:24 remains. If it's sudden death, any goal it goes in the net is going to be the game winner, and the players will move on to the gold medal round at 8 p.m. tonight. Puck is dropped. Hernandez for the face-off, and now comes in behind the net. Comes back. Hernandez unable to get control of it. Sear watching it, and that comes back to Tran. Tran leaves it for Nishi. Nishi with a shot through traffic, hits a body and goes high over the glass. The play stays inside the zone. Ravens going to set up on the near side, I think. Nishi and Lowe back on the blue line. We have Tran, Hernandez, and Lowe. Sear out there for the Richmond Ravens. Forward. Puck drop, face off won by the Ravens to the wall. Now battling for it. It comes back to Nishi. Nishi's going to shoot through traffic. Tip just over the net by Sear. Now the play comes around to the near side. First one there is Hernandez. Play comes out to the middle. And now backing out. The Wild just leave that. And now they're going to leave it go to the corner. From behind the net, it comes out to the middle and now out to the blue line. From the blue line, through traffic shot. Babcock makes the save as Nishi picks it up. Nishi. She hits her own player. Tran pulls it out. Tran backhands it forward for Sear. Sear gets it deep, and the Ravens go for a change. Nishi stays on. As the Wildcats come from behind the zone, now through the neutral zone and over to the far side. Wildcats bring it into the Raven zone. Wildcats with a shot. Babcock makes the save. It bounces into the slot. Now a shot right on. Save made by Babcock. It comes back to Babcock into the corner. Over to the near side. Wildcats blocked there by Miguel. Now on the basket stick. Basket stares it to the outside. She's going to pull Keogh forward. Nick gets into the neutral zone as the Ravens are able to catch up. Ravens put pressure on. Wildcats pass it across. Blocked there by the Ravens as that pass doesn't make it to its target. Morin comes in behind her own net. Morin, he's going to stop up. Her pass to the wall for Wing. Wing up forward looking for Miguel. Miguel bounces, works her way through, and now comes back to Wing. Puck bounces a couple of times, and now it gets on the Wildcat stick. Wildcats on the outside. It's shot. Babcock makes a save. It comes into the slot. Picked up by Miguel. She's going to put that down ice. I think it's going to be icing on the play as the whistle goes and the clock stops. Face-off is going to come down into the Raven zone. It's going to be to the right side of Babcock. Out on the ice is Tran to take the face-off. Puck dropped. It comes back to the blue line. From the blue line. Get to the side of the net. Now it's put towards the net. Goes in behind. Tran forward for Texera. Texera makes sure she gets the puck out into the neutral zone. Now comes across ice. Stopped again. Morin with it. Morin is going to skate it. Morin cuts the middle, and now she gets a shot towards the net. Goaltender makes a save and puts it into the corner. Morin carried it, chased it back in, but it comes to the wall. Ravens unable to hold on to it. Now they get it stopped. Tran with it. Tran walking her way in. Tran cuts to the middle. Tran unable to get the shot away. Now they play over to the near side. Texera, Tran, and Tran battling for it in the corner. Coming out with it is the Wildcats. Wildcats carried over to the far side with some speed. Wildcats to the outside. Wildcats carry it in behind the Ravens net, from behind the net. They're going to go back to the... They carry it in down low. Now they try to put it to the slot. Tran gets it on her stick. Tran goes across ice onto the stick of Texera. Texera tries to make a move, and now they get stopped, and Wildcats come back the other way. Wildcats with a chip play. That goes in behind the net. Macy in after it. Macy's going to overskate it. Now she chips it back, looking for David. David can't handle it. It comes out to the front of the net. McDonald can't handle that play. Now it's put back towards the net. This time, the Ravens, Hernandez has it on her stick. She chips it forward, looking for Sear. Sear puts pressure on. Now back to Hernandez. Hernandez overskates it. Gets some help from David. David across to McDonald. McDonald with lots of room. McDonald walking her way in. McDonald drops it back for Macy. Macy unable to get there, though, and now the play comes all the way down ice. Babcock stops it. David puts it up forward for Macy. Macy's going to go for a skate. She's going to stop up, lose her footing, but ends up with on Hernandez's stick. Hernandez puts it back in. 32 and a half seconds remaining in the period as the puck goes in behind the net. We're going to... Burnaby working their way down the ice. It goes in behind or into the neutral zone, and now Hernandez has it. Hernandez unable to get control of it, though. Hernandez battling for it. Now comes back to Hernandez. Hernandez chips it back down low. Miguel in out after it. Miguel back to the blue line. Ravens unable to hold it. Now we have a play down the other way. Wildcats from the outside. They get a shot towards the net. Lowe gets control of it. Lowe unable to move it forward. And we're going to stop it in play here. Now, I believe the plan here is an ice flood. 20 minutes goes on the clock. They're going to have 5 periods, their 5th period. And it's still going to be sudden death. Shots on goal to this point are 39-36 in favor of the Richmond Ravens. Welcome back as we start the 5th period in this semifinal championship game. 20 minutes is on the clock after this ice clean, but we're going to be doing a long change. Score tied at 3. Next goal wins. Face off. Fucking drop face off won by the Wildcats. They take it back in their own zone, and now they put it up into the Ravens' end. It's going to come all the way down. I think icing's going to get called on that. And that 9 seconds gets ticked off, and the face-off comes deep in the Wildcats' zone. Going to be the left side of the Wildcat goaltender. McDonald, David. Sorry, right side of the goaltender. Miguel. Fear and Macy out there for the Richmond Ravens. Puck is dropped. It gets on the McDonald's stick. She goes looking for Macy. It's just in front of her. She can't handle it. Macy backing out, being watched. Macy passes it over to David. David puts it forward into the neutral zone, looking for McDonald. Now turn back to David. David back into the McDonald. Now back into the Ravens zone. Put to the middle. Ravens read that one. Leave it for Miguel. Miguel and Sear working their way up ice. Miguel to the outside. Miguel working their way in the zone. Ravens on a change. From behind the net, Sear puts pressure on. Puck comes over to the wall. Now in behind the net. It's on the net. Now from behind the net, Miguel tries to put it off the goaltender, and it takes a funny hop off the wall, and now back to Miguel. Miguel with a shot. Save made by the goaltender. It goes out the near side now, reversed around. Nishi steps up off her. Nishi holds it in. Now the play back to the blue line for Tran. Tran across ice. And a shot. Wow. Well over the net. Nishi with it. Nishi down low looking for Hernandez. Hernandez in behind the net for Tran. Tran overstates it, but now picked up. Tran's going to eat it on the wall, and now she pulls it back out. Her sister steps in, and now back out to the middle. A fan on the shot there by Hernandez, and she doesn't get everything on it. Now the player in back in behind the net. A stretch pass there, gets onto them. Now we're going to have icing on the play as the Wildcats chip it out looking for a change. Low and more and step on the ice. With Wing, Basket, and Miguel. But the drop, face off one on the wing stick. Wing takes a shot, hits a body. Now from behind the net. The Wildcats come off the wall. Low, backs out. There's a pass gets put forward. Low, unable to handle it. But the Wildcats put themselves offside. The puck rolled along the dasher and she tried to pull it down as she came across the blue line. 18-11 remaining in this fifth period. They're going to take it back to the near side here as they're calling it an intentional offside. Miguel is going to take the face off. He looks back to Morin. Takes off one into the Wildcat zone. Wildcats put it back to the near side. Morin picks it up. Morin, she's going to put it down into the Wildcat zone. It goes over to the far side. First one there is a Wildcat player. Wing gets a stick on that as the puck goes up in the air. And now the Wildcats come out with it. Wildcats with a kick forward. And now they work their way into the Ravens zone from the outside now. Lose a handle on it as it comes down into the corner. From the corner, the Ravens are freezing the puck in the corner. And the whistle goes as the play stops. Excuse me. Battery dead?
No, it's not dead. It's just that this is doing that twisting thing again.
Okay. I'll help you.
It's underneath the bag, I guess. Ah, that's why.
Face off to the left side of Babcock. Puck is dropped. Face off one into the corner for David. David has it. David cuts around the net. Now she cuts to the middle. Or pass across over to the near side for Kay. Kay with a little bit of room. She works her way in. She's going to chip it around the player and then chase after it. Puck comes back into the corner. Now up the wall. Stopped by Tran. Straight up in the air. Bounce down the corner. Now back to the blue line for David. David. He's going to shoot it through traffic. Tipped. Hits the bodies and now they're saying hand pass called. A very delayed call. Extremely delayed. As a hand pass is called and they're saying it's going to come outside the zone. 17-15 remaining in this sudden death period. Tran, Macy, Kay, David, and Lowe out there. Sorry, and Tran out there. Puck is put forward by Tran into the zone. Ravens give chase. It gets shoveled forward. Wildcats pull it down. They chip it around the defender. Macy over after it. Macy continues it around the far side for Tran. Tran leaves it there. Now it comes back in to the middle. From the middle, chipped around. Ravens hold it to the outside. Macy has it on her stick. Macy stops up. Now she's going to buy herself a little bit of time there. Macy with some room, puts it forward for Tran. Tran can't handle the pass on her backhand. Now David gets a hold of it. She puts it right on net. Play continues as the Ravens go for a change. The Wildcats come around behind the net and now with some speed out of the zone. Wildcats pass it forward. Now they have a breakaway on the near side. Walking their way in. They try to cut to the net. Babcock makes the save and holds on to that one to keep the Ravens in the game. As the girl cut and drove the net and went far side backhand. 16-27 remains in the period. Sear to take the face off for the Richmond Ravens. Puck is dropped. Face off one back into the corner by the Ravens. Picked up though by the Wildcats. Wildcats from behind the net. They're going to put it back out to the blue line. From the blue line through traffic, it starts blocked by the Ravens. And that comes all the way back down the ice as Texera had a big block there. She's going to work off that sting. And now we have a 3-on-2 back the other way as the Wildcats come out of the zone. Wildcats from the outside. They try to put it through the middle. It's blocked there by the Ravens and now it comes back out to the wall. From the wall, shot towards the net. It goes through the blue paint over to the near side. Texera gets it out into the neutral zone. Cabana gets chase. It's put back into the Ravens zone as Amade goes back to pick it up. Amade with it on the stick. He's going to put it up the wall looking for Sear. Sear make sure it gets down through the neutral zone. And now the play comes on to Hernandez's stick. Hernandez tries to force it forward for Cabana. Now on the stick of the Wildcats. Wildcats working their way in from the outside. Wildcats driving the net. Wildcats cut to this from behind the net. Play continues as the puck goes into the corner. Now back to the blue line. From the blue line, a slap shot. It tipped a couple of times, but held before it gets to the net. Now the Wildcat have it. Wildcats try to cut to the middle. The Ravens get it out, but held at the blue line again. Now a block again. Ravens. Hernandez tries to pick it up, but she can't pull it from behind herself. Now the play tipped forward. It gets over both Ravens. Six, and Lucy goes back after it. Tyson called with 14:59 remaining in the period. We remain tied at 3 in this sudden death game. Face off down into the Wildcat zone. It's going to be the left side of the Wildcat goaltender. Miguel comes on to take the face off. She's got Hernandez and McDonald with her with Lowe and Morin back on the blue line. Puck is dropped. Face off one by the Wildcats. It goes now. The Ravens put it towards the net. It goes off the ref. McDonald is going to pick the puck up. McDonald back to the blue line. Held by Morin. Morin puts it back down to McDonald. McDonald across for Lowe. Lowe walks in. Lowe with a shot. Save made by the goaltender who holds on to that one. Lots of pressure there by the Richmond Ravens. We maintain the same line. Yell out to pick the face off. Yell steps in. Face off one to the wall by the Wildcats. They put it around to the far side. First one there. Here's a Wildcats player. Ravens turn it over. Now it's turned back over. Wildcats out to the neutral zone. Wildcats now cut to the outside. Miguel turns it back. Now picked up by the Wildcats. Wildcats put it into the middle. Now on the stick of Hernandez. Hernandez, she's going to carry it forward. Hernandez through the neutral zone. Hernandez shoots the puck on the net. Save made by the goaltender. She directs it over to the near side. McDonald with it on his stick. McDonald leaves it there, looking for Miguel. Miguel, sorry, that was Hernandez. Now Miguel and Hernandez back checking as the Wildcats chip it down the ice. Both teams going for a change. Morin with it. Morin forward for Hernandez. Hernandez, she's going to carry it out of the zone. She puts it down. It's under the defenders. They go D to D on the Wildcat side, and now through the neutral zone, 3-on-2. They walk their way in. A pass to the outside. Now a shot. It goes wide of the net. Wildcats shoot it back into the Raven zone. Basket in after it. Now on the stick of Sear. Sear battles off a couple of checks now. She passes it to the middle. Sear for wing. Puck back into Sear's feet. On the stick of the Wildcats. Wildcats, your blue line, held by Macy. Macy with a shot right on. Save made by the goaltender who holds onto that one. Basket. Sear. Wing. David and Macy out there for the Ravens. Face off the left side of the goaltender. She wins. Face off is won by the Wildcats. They get it out into the neutral zone, and now David goes back to pick it up. David fires it deep as the Ravens give chase. Sear in after it. Her and Wing both on the near side. Now it gets chipped in behind the net for Basket. Basket centers it. There's a shot wide on net. Battling from behind the net. It gets up on the net. And now it comes up from the Ravens. Win the goal again as they put it in the back of the net. Sear in the slot as the Ravens find the back of the net. Big celebration as the Ravens find themselves going to the gold medal game at 8 p.m. tonight. It took 5 periods and 43 shots, but the Ravens made it work when it mattered most. All year long, this Burnaby team pushed the Richmond Ravens. Hats off to that team and that goalie. They played a great game. Ravens, worst they can do now is silver medal.